Sequels. Some people like them, some people don't. I, for one, am fine if they are not lousy pieces of garbage like Pumpkinhead 3. But in this case, one that's actually pretty dang good. It's brooding atmospheric as Psycho 2. Yes, Anthony Perkins returns. It's 22 years later, and Norman Bates is coming home. Oh, dang straight he is. And what's happening? Is he sane, or is there something more sinister going on with him? Well, in this case, it's a combination. I like this one. This one's... You can't top the original. That's fucking legendary. For a reason. But this one, instead of just giving it copies of the original, but it has its own identity. Let me explain. So obviously he returns home. We have his social worker who helps him. You know, he gets a job at a diner being an assistant cook. And then he meets a pretty coworker there. Boyfriend dumped her, and then it's like, okay, so these two start to form a relationship. But then the mother, named Lila Loomis, I swear that's got to be a reference to Halloween, enters the picture, and what does she do? Who knows exactly. This movie is about Norman starting to lose his sanity inside his hotel. And, I mean, I'll tell you, Anthony Perkins, he returns 22 years later, works so dang good. The best parts are when he is talking to his mother, when you say, "Hello, mother." And, it's like, is he really talking to someone, or is it someone else pretending to be him? But you would think that this would get boring after a while, but no, he's surprised. Okay, it does get a little boring after a while, after the 6th phone call. But there were a couple of times where one character is pretending to be his mom. It's part of the plot. And, she's right there. Perkins is, right off screen in just the right angle to make you feel like that there is tension. But this tension makes you feel like this man could just one day start committing some of the things that he did. And there is this one jackass who really does deserve the treatment. He turns the Bates Motel into an adult motel. Says, hey, I pay him a couple hours. They're in and out. And that's actually an effective way. Granted, it's a little bit ribald, but hey, whatever makes it work. But then he eventually gets his comeuppance in a good way. Oh, so we get to see him just slowly start to lose his sanity, especially, like I said, with the phone calls, and even on, the little wheel that they use for orders. And I was like, don't you dare bring this, to quote the movie, this whore back into the house, love mother. Yeah. Apparently he still going on, so, they start questioning, hey, is this man sane or not? And the movie has some callbacks. Specifically, the way how he takes his jacket off, eating his what was that, fried cheese sandwiches or whatever, pretending like he's this normal individual, but underneath beneath the epidermis, we know exactly what's going on. And even with the swamp now, that's where he put all the bodies and everything in the cars, but they managed to recover the schmuck owner's vehicle, and I think they even discover his body in there. It was, they have a whole bunch of people in there. They have they have some cops, they have some people that are diving and searching. So it was quite a scene, just to make all that happen. I'm like, all right. So it feels like it's treading ground, but at the same time, because it's in color, we get to see more of a vibrant take on everything here. So I think that the color adds a little bit more mystique, to everything going on. Definitely when he is for playing, like, when he's able to portray the mother and himself with the personalities. It adds more as that dissociative identity disorder, I think they said in the original. That was pretty interesting to see. Even having, yes, I'm spoiling this movie because not too many people have heard of it. When, in order to help, like, keep his sanity intact, Mary, the waitress, dons the actual mother's, like, clothes and says, "Stop, you're going too far, leave them alone," or whatever. And we're just like, what the heck? She gets krilled. Cops believe that, it was her and Lila that committed all these krillings, but then ultimately one of the waitresses from the diner is his actual freaking mother. Comes in, yeah, Emma, I forgot her last name. Emma Spool comes in. It's like, yeah, I committed all these, but then lo and behold, I'm like saying, grabs a shovel, whacks her over the head. I just was thinking, I was not expecting that at all. And I'm just thinking, what the heck was that? So, and then he takes this actual mother's cadaver, because it turned out that was her sister in the original. I'm just thinking, holy smokes, that was one heck of a reveal I didn't know about. And I'm just like, continuing with the mythos, check. Great performance by Anthony Perkins, check. Too many times he reverts to the mother persona, something that may turn some people off. Maybe the retreading no ground, some people may not like. I didn't have that much of a problem with it. And ending shot right at the end with where they have the camera above and he takes the body. Still a little creepy. And I'm like, you know what? This movie is pretty dang good on its own. I know there's some, yeah, obviously Vera Miles also returns as the inquisitive woman who is haunted by her sister's brutal murder in the ominous motel where it all occurred. Yeah, pretty much most people said, and like, they enjoyed making it. I have to admit, almost 2 hours long. It does drag on. So yeah, ultimately, if you do get the chance, I do recommend that you watch Psycho 2.